had warm weather yesterday, expected today and tomorrow, which then causes further issue and further concern. So
tonight, fires continue to ravage parts of British Columbia and the Northwest Territories.
The main and most important thing to retain from this decision is the broader systemic context which is exposed in the decision.
Plus, a hospital official fired during the Joyce Echaquan incident is reinstated.
I teach them language, I teach them a lot about culture, history, whatever else that we feel that they need to touch base on. Education is the key to everything.
And baseball, volleyball, and even horseshoes are on display at the Mi'kmaq Games. Good evening, Tanse Anin. Welcome to APTN National News. I'm Daryl Stranger. Residents of Hay River are on edge today as a wildfire burns dangerously close to the community in the Northwest Territories.
To look out the window and see that fire roaring towards your town was something I will never forget.
Fire crews managed to hold off the flames that are threatening Hay River. The fire is now listed as being within just 1 kilometer of West Point First Nation, which is within Hay River and West Channel. The wildfire has grown to more than 4,000 square kilometers in size.
we had warm weather yesterday, expected today and tomorrow, which then causes further issue and further concern. So we have the helicopters are able to hit the fire. We are actually doing good work on it. We had to do a couple of ignition operations as well, and fortunately that helped. But we're still not out of the situation yet. We're still in difficult times right now.
Fire crews spent the weekend battling the blaze and made some progress using water bombers. The territory says firefighting resources are being redeployed to the areas that need them. And the Northwest Territories legislature will meet later today to discuss delaying October 3rd's territorial election due to the wildfires. The territory's chief electoral officer has suggested that the date of the election be pushed until November. And with just one fire burning just 1.5 kilometers away from Hay River, there are heat warnings and shifting winds to worry about. Extreme heat is forecast in the Fort Simpson region, with daytime highs reaching 28 to 35 degrees. Heat warnings are also in place in northern Alberta, northeastern BC, and the BC North Coast. In the meantime, in West Kelowna, nearly 16,000 properties remain on evacuation order.
Go cry because they lost everything they owned in the world. They continued to fight their neighbors' houses to try and save as much as possible.
Another 1,100 properties remain on order in rural areas and on West Bank First Nation lands. The Central Okanagan Emergency Operations Center says 1,800 people were allowed to return home over the weekend. Residents of 2 more long-term care homes were among those returning after being evacuated on August the 18th. Evacuation orders in communities around Okanagan Lake have now been lifted. Residents of the wildfire-stricken Shuswap region will soon learn the fate of their properties affected by a fast-moving blaze just over a week ago. Derek Sutherland, director of the Emergency Operations Center for the British Columbia Shuswap Regional District, says staff will start reaching out to residents today. He told
of response at this point is safety, and that is safety of our people and everyone else in the area.
The duty of the RCMP is to enforce the laws of the country, not to solve.
He told the briefing Sunday that the estimated number of properties destroyed by the Bush Creek East wildfire is unchanged at 131, with another 37 sustaining damage. Sutherland says the regional district is planning to open a resiliency center in Salmon Arm to support displaced residents. And we want to hear what you think about this summer's fire season. Here's how you can continue the conversation. You can find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X, previously known as Twitter. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. Canada's Public Health Agency has confirmed Indigenous women face more disparities accessing healthcare in our country. A study released today found First Nations, Inuit, and Métis women have less access to a regular healthcare provider. It also found the wait times for appointments is longer and more of their needs are going unmet, particularly when it comes to mental health. The study attributes the disparity to racism and the lack of primary care providers. A Quebec arbitration tribunal has ordered the reinstatement of an orderly who was fired following the death of Joyce Echaquan, the Tickmick mother of 7, who live-streamed racist remarks from her caretakers at a Joliet hospital shortly before her death. The arbitrator said in his decision that the orderly, Miriam LeBlanc, made inappropriate remarks towards Echaquan, but concluded that while she deserved to be sanctioned, she was not the only or main person responsible. Arbitrator Serge Bro ordered the health board to cancel the termination and give LeBlanc back pay that she's owed, minus a 6-month unpaid suspension. Patrick Martin Menard, the lawyer representing Echaquan's family, said that although they have mixed emotions about the decision, their priority is systemic change.
The main and most important thing to retain from this decision is the broader systemic context, which is exposed in the decision. And for that, the family is happy that the decision has recognized these points that I have just mentioned. And it further underscores the need to continue the work to make sure that systemic racism ends.
All right, we have to pause the news for just a moment. Still to come, the Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Summer Games brings inspiration to the Millbrook First Nation.
I find it very educational for our kids, and they're not just stuck in their communities.
Welcome back to APTN National News. Thousands of people were on hand for the Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Summer Games hosted by the Millbrook First Nation. As Angel Moore reports, it's about much more than sport. It's also a cultural celebration that inspires future generations.
This is a horseshoe competition, Grandmasters 55 older and under. For Virginia Michael of the Sabaganagati Nation, it began as a family affair.
Because my mom was playing, and it was a nice family because they're called the Horseshoe family. So I wanted to join that family, and I'm really glad I did because, like I said, we need to keep it going. And if we have more and more people getting involved, we'll keep this alive because it's our people. It's what we do.
The Millbrook First Nation hosted the Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Summer Games with over 2,000 participants and 20 sporting events, including volleyball at the Truro, Nova Scotia Community College Sports Centre and baseball at the Millbrook Ball Field. Bernadette Marshall of the Boladek Nation says it's about meeting new people.
You know, talking to kids, like, you know, I find it very educational for our kids, and they're not just stuck in their communities.
The Princess Pageant is a big attraction. The contestants rehearse under the direction of Sunshine Paul Martin, pageant coordinator.
That's the funnest part about this. Like, we host workshops, I teach them language, I teach them a lot about culture, history, whatever else that we feel that they need to touch base on. Education is the key to everything.
Miss Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Summer Games Queen represents their communities and Mi'kmaqi, promote culture and inspire the next generation.
Be a good role model, not only for her community, but for all of Mi'kmaqi.
The 2023 Queen, Ali Martin of the Millbrook Nation, enjoyed her title.
I really got to represent my culture more in ways that I normally wouldn't have, which was really good, and it was a really good experience, and I'm excited to be passing that down to some other young woman.
Miss Canada United World, Megan Basque of the Eskazoni First Nation was on hand to coach the contestants. Basque will be a contestant herself at the Miss United World pageant in Texas.
I think I'm more excited than nervous. I'm really thankful to be able to represent Canada and showcasing my Mi'kmaq cultures and traditions and just making my people proud.
Culture and tradition are the focus of the pageant. Contestant Miracle Rain Johnson of the Member 2 Nation says,
like a lot of the children, they love seeing all the princesses around at the games or wherever. They're like, oh my goodness, like I love your headdress, or I love your ribbon skirt, and I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And I just think it's very special that we give those young people things to look forward to, you know, when they're older and they're old enough to participate in princess pageants. So.
Contestant Royce Nevin of the Sabaganagati Nation is enjoying making new friends.
And so I think it's going to be really fun because I'll be happy and proud of anyone, whoever wins anyways.
The games are a gathering of athletic spirit and cultural celebration. Michael says,
it's important to see our family, our friends, and just to talk about the stories and keep everything alive. So it's about history, it's about telling the stories to the younger people, and also being a role model for the younger ones to look at us and say, wow, they're athletes, you know.
The 2024 Summer Games will be hosted by the Member 2 Nation. Angel Moore, APTN National News, Millbrook Nation.
A three-day youth summit wrapped up on Saturday at the Poundmakers Lodge Treatment Center near Edmonton. The event featured seminars and plenty of sports. APTN's Chris Stewart took in some hockey and floor curling events.
These youth are getting a taste of NHL Street at the second annual Youth TP Summit. The First Nations Health Consortium's free 3-day event offered special guest speakers offering knowledge on important issues like drug overdoses, mental health, and the dangers of sexually transmitted diseases. Sunday saw an improv learning session. On Friday, NHL Street was a favorite. The program has been to the US and Canada, opening up the game of hockey to everyone. Tom Garavaglia is the director and says that NHL Street gets people who have never played before hooked on the game.
Once you actually get a chance to put a stick in a hand, that's when you have the biggest impact, right? It's one thing to talk about it, it's something else to actually go out and play the game. So we're going to get everybody up, we're going to get them moving, and we're going to try to score some goals and see who has the best goal celebration out here.
He says that NHL Street will be working with Alberta's First Nations to bring the game to their communities.
We've just begun in this relationship, this partnership, so this is our first touch point with them, making sure again that we're rolling it out in the right ways and giving them the tools necessary. But over the next few months, our friends at Heroes Hockey have also partnered with us and First Nations to bring sets of equipment to these different communities throughout the province. So we're very excited to get this program rolled out and get some people playing a great game.
Inside the building, Curling Canada presented Rocks and Rings. Floor curling, a sport that can be played without ice, and much more accessible. The Alberta Minister of Indigenous Relations, Rick Wilson, played a game against Edmonton Mayor Amrit Sohi.
And I just beat the Mayor of Edmonton, just to let you know. But this is such a great event. All of this stuff is available to communities for free. It's to help the kids get involved in sports. We go outside, you've seen the hockey rink they've got. And so you don't need all that fancy equipment and all the expense. You can just go have fun as a kid.
And the youth really took to the summit.
I've definitely learned a lot from the first day, especially with all the presentations. Second day, it was especially coming in with the activities. Yeah, it was definitely pretty cool.
What's been your favorite part so far?
Definitely the hockey part, 100% hockey part.
Chris Stewart, APTN National News, St. Albert.
Always love seeing everyone's joy at these types of events. And with that, we do need to step away for one more quick break. Our photo of the day and weather are next. Plus, Edmonton holds its first Two-Spirit powwow.
So we have the capacity to love and we have the capacity to bring together.
Welcome back. It's time now for our photo of the day. Thanks to Dave Menzies for sharing with us this view from a boat launch located in Selkirk, Manitoba. This was the calm waters just this past Saturday, and that sure does look like a great day to be out on the water. Pictures you would like to share can be sent to share@aptn.ca, and we might just pick your photo to be our next photo of the day. All right, now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Beginning on the East Coast, at 22 in St. John's and 22 in Halifax, 24 in Cartwright and 24 in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Quebec City is looking at 25 degrees with some showers and 25 in showers in Montreal. Clear and 25 in Toronto and 18 degrees in North Bay. 15 in showers in Wawa and 20 degrees in Sioux Lookout. 20 degrees in Churchill and 20 in Norway House. Some showers in 22 in Barons River and clear in 25 in Winnipeg. 34 degrees in Swift Current and 31 in Saskatoon. 29 degrees in Meadow Lake and 29 degrees in Buffalo Narrows. As we continue heading west at 29 and Smoky in High Level and 27 in Peace River. Clear in 30 in Edmonton and 32 degrees in Lethbridge. 19 degrees in Vancouver and 21 in Bella Coola. 20 degrees in Sandspit and 24 degrees in Dease Lake. 25 degrees in Whitehorse and 10 in Rock River. 27 degrees in Fort Simpson and 31 in Trout Lake. 8 degrees in Fort McPherson and 12 in Colville Lake. 7 degrees in Cambridge Bay and 10 in Whale Cove. Clear and 8 in Igloolik and 8 degrees in Iqaluit. In our final installment on the origin of the Jingle dress, the granddaughter of Maggie White, Rhonda White, talks about what the dress means to her.
Rhonda says the 50th anniversary powwow was meaningful to be part of, as the largest she's seen in over 20 years.
Just wow. Just, you know, I think back when we first traveled, nobody danced the Jingle dress. You didn't see it out there. And today it's everywhere. No matter where you go, there's always the Jingle dress out there. Yeah, and that's something that I'm proud of, because this is what my kokum saw. This is what she's seen, that the dress is going to become part of all these different nations. Yeah. And maybe that's what another part of that healing is.
Dancing Saturday evening during a Jingle dress special for her niece Sierra White, she reflects on what dancing means to her.
Yeah, one of the things that I relate the jingles, the sounds is it goes back to the drum. It goes back to the sounds of the drum that I always try to honor my grandmothers by dancing the old ways of how they used to dance, so that way our younger generation can see that.
And this healing song that the Whitefish Bay Singers will be singing came from her great grandmother, Sierra's great grandmother, Maggie White.
We're told is to be around people, because that's the best medicine, and to continue with dancing. So when we dance, we're dancing for those that can't, for those that are gone, those that are not, that can't be here with us. And then we dance for the healing. And I think for me, it's all of that, you know, what my niece had gone through. It made me so proud to see her dance, very proud. everything that she had gone through. So all of my energy went for her to have that strength. Yeah. And then thinking about my family, everyone that my brother had left behind.
It's just not a dress. It's healing people. The feeling when you're watching them dance. And it's just not pretty. It's, it's just not beautiful. It's just, you feel so proud when you're dancing out there, so proud. And it's, to me, it's not just about money either. You feel a lot, you feel happy.
It's so beautiful to really think about how they honor that gift and the joy that comes of it and the healing. And it's so beautiful to see how far and wide the Jingle just has gone, like all over Turtle Island, and how respected our people from Nochmagony are by all the relations of Turtle Island. It's incredible.
It really does heal and protect you, because there are times where I'm sick, and when I want to dance, it helps me heal and I feel a lot better. And it's just not only the dancing, but the dresses as well. So I feel very, very honored, and it's very powerful to dance in a Jingle dress, especially in here in Whitefish.
The community acknowledges the 150th anniversary of the signing of Treaty 3, October 3rd. Carly Schogner, APTN National News, Nokimiigwaaning First Nation.
And this is what I chose to do for my work and my life, is to uphold our rights as Indigenous peoples and to protect our waters and to always recognize this relationship that we had with them.
Hundreds of supporters were dancing recently in Edmonton's downtown Churchill Square, celebrating the first two-spirited powwow. The day-long celebration featured traditional drummers and dancers, and local, provincial, and federal two-spirited politicians addressed the large crowd. Blake Desjardins, a Cree Métis NDP Member of Parliament, told APTN that this event shows the love from the community.
The fact that we have the capacity to dance, we have the capacity to love, and we have the capacity to bring together all of these folks who are right now, especially in this climate across Canada and across the United States, across Turtle Island, are feeling threatened. The 2S LGBTQI community is seeing an increase of violence right across the country. And in a time when we're faced with such hatred, our response, and you can see here today, is love, is gathering, is dance.
All right, that's all we have for you this evening on APTN National News. Thank you so much for joining us. For all of us here at Miigwech, Kananaskew'tin, and have a great night.